What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Stock Hustle channel with your boy William, coming back for another video for today, September 18th, Saturday. Now, first and foremost, like any person, usually I take the weekends for myself to relax or do things I enjoy. As you guys can clearly tell, one of the things I enjoy the most is the stock market. So I've decided instead to take that opportunity to take advantage to not only improve my content, but also continue giving you guys more options of things you can play in the stock market, because again, there are way more things out there than just AMC or GME, which is pretty much what I've been concentrated on the most. But you know, you got to broaden your horizon. I do play other things outside of just AMC and GME. Don't think I don't. I've started to include a couple fragments in my videos about other plays that I play and here and there. But with making content, I want to be honest, it's super challenging. It's not as easy as people think. It's not easy to just record your voice on a computer and say, oh look, this is what I buy. And like, translating all the knowledge you have in your head to a video can get super hard, because again, a lot of things get lost in translation, right? So like anybody, you're going to make mistakes here and there, especially when you're learning or you're starting off. I am a relatively new channel. I've been producing videos essentially for about a month. I'm on video 35. This will be video 36. So yeah, a little bit over a month and a week. I'm honest with myself. I'm also my hardest critic. I know my content isn't the best, but it will get there eventually. With that, I do want to make a correction to yesterday's video, because I announced the play and I didn't give a proper explanation, and that's not okay. If I'm being honest with myself, I have to try to produce the best content as possible and give good explanations so that you guys can understand and see what I'm seeing, and that way you will have more conviction if you choose to participate in it as well. Because again, this is a stock education channel, not financial advice. There is a difference. But anyways, as you're looking at the chart, this is FCEL. FCEL is a green energy play, right? So first and foremost, you're going to notice a big difference in my charts from other days. Primarily, 1 second. Alexa, next. One thing you'll notice is the candles are different. The candles are changed from a traditional candle setup, which is what I normally use, this here, to something called Heikin Ashi. Now, when I'm charting or looking at charts trying to hunt trends or plays, I use a strategy that I learned through Meet Kevin. He's also a big YouTuber. Shout out to him. The guy is super knowledgeable. I actually learned this from him, to be honest, watching his videos, because I noticed anytime he's looking for a trend, he's using Heikin Ashi. And if I'm enunciating that wrong, I apologize. I don't speak Japanese. I wish I did. I love Japanese culture, food, especially tattoos. But Heikin Ashi is another way of charting candles, specifically on a chart. It basically means average bar, right? So the theory is the same on how to candle or how to place a candle on a chart. It just monitors a trend more than just a buy and sell, right? It basically reduces the noise on a chart so that you can clearly see trends. And I know trying to interpret that, what I'm trying to explain, doesn't really make sense, so I'm just going to show it. This is a normal chart. Buy and sell orders here and there. What Heikin Ashi does is it takes the average. Is it trending down or is it trending up? And it maps it on a chart for you more clearly to see. This is a downtrend versus trying to figure out, oh, it's going to turn around, oh, it's going to spike, oh. Again, it's just a better way to look at a chart. So first and foremost, that's why you see the difference in my chart. Under Heikin Ashi, I found FCEL when I got an alert, specifically this day here, which was, I think, Tuesday. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I got an alert from Unusual Whales. There was a 30% spike, right? And I went to Twitter and I saw that, yeah, it did in fact spike. It spiked from like a low of 5 to a high of like 750. So it made me look at the chart. When I looked at the chart, I right away noticed this huge triangle, like it's forming, right? You can see uptrend on the left, downtrend on the right, pretty much for the most part. I looked at the RSI. I see that it had touched oversold a couple different times, right? And once it did, it spiked up. Well, right now it's sitting essentially at neutral, which means it's already come up from a downtrend. But look at the MACD. We're also about to start a buying period. So what is FCEL? That made me look at FCEL. Where's my tab? FCEL. FCEL is a publicly traded fuel cell company headquartered in Danbury, Connecticut. It designs and manufactures and operates and services direct fuel cell power plants. So it's green energy, right? If you guys have been paying attention to news, recently there was an infrastructure bill that's about to pass. This is what caught my attention in that. infrastructure bill, 73 billion for the electrical grid, but less for electric vehicles and lead pipes. So if you go on to read this article from the New York Times, essentially it talks about how they are assigning $73 billion to improve our electricity grid because they want more people in electric vehicles, and renewable energy is hot right now. So along with yesterday's video that I included Blink, I also threw in fuel cell. I didn't mean to throw that in this video. Again, I just kind of got caught up in translation, but it is a play that I bought into. Specifically, I had showed you guys I bought contracts specific or option contracts specifically for fuel cell. If we go and check the flow, you see it mixed in. I have it filtered only to SPCE and fuel cell. You'll understand why the SPC in a minute. But October 15th, you see underlying price, and then you see them throwing money, 1.5 million. And it's mixed, right? For the most part, you see heavy SPCE, which is my segue into my next play. Where's the other fuel cell? Here we go. $12 call, 241,000. Again, if you go look at the chart for fuel cell or look at the heavy options flow, it is heavy on the call side for fuel cell for October 15th, which is specifically the contracts that I bought as I showed in yesterday's video. But that's the explanation for that one. So let's jump into my next one. Some of you may have heard of this company, some of you may have not, but I'm pretty sure you have. It's called Virgin Galactic, or otherwise ticker SPCE. This was the play that I meant to throw in to yesterday's video, but again, as I mentioned, I'm making the correction now. So, first and foremost, looking at this chart, pay attention to a couple things. We are on a one-day chart, so every candle represents a day on this chart. If you're looking at this, you may be in shock and disbelief like I was when I first saw this, but you see these huge triangles. And if we go back in history, this company, since it started trading publicly, is nothing but a bunch of triangles. Going back as far as, this is, I think, 2019, triangle, spike, triangle, spike, triangle, spike, triangle, spike. They're smaller, bigger, triangle, spike, triangle, spike, triangle, spike. Literally, that's all this company has been doing on cycles repeatedly since it started or traded publicly. Well, let's take a look at a more relatively closer timeline. This is essentially June through September. As you see, we started our downtrend essentially July 9th. Looking at the MACD down here, you see the orange line converged under the blue line, and we started building red candles on the MACD. That signifies our selling period. Well, matching the chart, you see the same thing. You see a little bit of a spike turnaround around August 9th, but then we continued this downtrend. As you see here, we're coming to an end. Pay attention to the RSI now. We're sitting close to neutral at 50. MACD has converged, starting our buying period. You see this big candle right here, a nice little spike. Well, let's tie that in with the flow. Looking at the flow, $9.4 million put on 35. Well, the stock is only trading essentially at 26. So that's a $10 jump for January 22. January 2022, again, you see these millions and millions of dollars going into these calls and puts. $55 put. We're not nowhere near $25 or $55. We're at 25. That's almost double. So that is what gave me conviction when I saw SPCE. Plus, I went looking at this is the Wall Street Journal. I'll include this in the item description of my video. I go sometimes here to see what other investors or institutional investors are judging or rating companies. And as you see here, 3 months ago we had 6 buy ratings. A month ago we had 4. Currently we have 4. Overweight, none. Hold, we have 5 current. Underweight and sell, we have 1. The overall consensus, as you see here, is to hold this play. Well, yeah, I would definitely recommend holding it if you have it, because this triangle is going to break out, as all triangles do. You can see that from the history of the chart. Triangle, spike, triangle, spike. Again, it's repeated, it's clearly visible. And again, just to give you the guys' distinction of why I changed my chart, take a look at it on a regular candle chart. Not as clearly visible unless you've been trading for a while or you've been studying charts for a while. Then obviously you can clearly identify when a triangle is forming. But if you are still new or relatively new or still learning, I would definitely recommend Heikin Ashi as a go-to moving forward. But again, that's this second play, this SPC. I also played this on an options play. I went with the October 2015 because that was the predominantly closest strike date I saw from the flow. These were going for 25. They're now 28 because of the little spike we had yesterday. But if we base it on trends, as we see, the most recent triangle popped up essentially to 57. The biggest triangle popped up to 64, 63. So when I went and mapped it on options calculator, again, I'll include this link in the description below as well. I chose something between that and the highest, so I can kind of get a good gauge. Well, at 57, let's say we just come relatively close to it, right? You're gonna make $4,300. If you go back up to the high, you're gonna make $5,700. Let's say we don't even get anywhere near that. Let's say we hit just 35. That's still $434 I didn't have before. Now, as I've told you guys, in the stock market, it's a risk-reward system, right? How much are you willing to risk for how much are you willing to make, especially when it comes to options, because you are 100% risking this money. Options, the difference is you can lose it like that. But if you're using conviction, using tools, studying the chart, and following money, big money, it lowers your risk overall. Lowering my risk overall, I feel comfortable risking $56 to potentially make $5,700, $4,300, or even simply $500. To me, that's a pretty good give back for putting this money at risk. But these are probably my favorite type of plays that I like to play, especially when we are in a market that has heavy red days followed by heavy green days, and it keeps flipping back and forth, not understanding really what it wants to do. With all the inflation concerns, with this damn Evergrande thing out of China that I'm sick of hearing about, it's scaring and spooking a lot of big time investors, which is what's forcing all these sells that you see here, because they're terrified of the inflation risk. But again, when it comes to that, this is the essentially strategy I like to play. I go hunting for good opportunities, and I take low risk option entries with potential high reward payouts. That's me personally. You don't have to do that. This is just a strategy I like to implement. Again, everybody's different. The point of this channel is to try to teach you as many of those strategies as possible, or as many of these tools as possible you can use to your advantage moving forward. And again, I would want, if I could have it anyway, I would make sure that anyone that watches my videos could potentially make as much money as possible. Again, my belief is you put enough good karma into the world, eventually that good karma is going to come back to you tenfold. But anyways, guys, I think you guys get the point. This is my third time recording this video, so third time's a charm, as they say. If you have a comment, leave it down below. Please do also like and subscribe, as it does help with the channel's growth. And I want to keep producing better content for you guys. But other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.